Hey guys, it's DC the Purple Diva, and welcome back to my channel, Chronicles of an Artsy Autism Mom. And before I go on, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I believe the subscription button is there. One of those places. Maybe it's right there. Maybe. And if you want to see me on other social media, you can follow me on Instagram and on Snapchat at DC the Purple Diva. On Twitter and on Periscope, it is the Purple Diva DC. And you can also find me on Facebook. It is DC the Purple Divas Chronicles of an Artsy Autism Mom. So I got my tea and my let me put it in my right hand, even though I'm left-handed, in my color purple cup. Drinking some nice jasmine tea. Have a jasmine incense and some jasmine candles burning. And I'm just going to do this quick video before I start dinner. So today I posed a question in one of the sorry guys, I had nothing all day. In one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook, I'm in a number of groups. I'm in some autism groups, and then I'm in a special needs mom network. And so I posed the question in the special needs mom network one. And if you are a special needs mom and are interested in finding out about that particular close group, leave me a comment below, and I'll give you information in regards to it. So anyway, the question I posed was about hoarding. So that's what today's video is going to be about. It's going to be about hoarding. And I want to distinguish between obsessions that someone with autism might have. Like if they've got an obsession for cars or obsession for trains and they like those a lot, that's not the same as hoarding. Hoarding is this, when they're holding on to things, and if you try to take it away, it becomes an issue. So, but I posed a question on Facebook and was just asking if I was the only one who was dealing with that. And I got varying answers from parents, because really the hoarding can happen with other things other than autism, but it does happen with some individuals with autism. With my son, we didn't really have this issue when he was younger. I mean, we went through the stages of him loving the Duplos and the Legos and them being all over the house, and him not wanting to be anywhere without them. Yeah, but that was more of a obsession than a hoarding. Once he grew out of them, didn't care about them anymore. But the things that we're dealing with hoarding are like trash items, like empty potato chip bags, empty sandwich wrappers, getting things out of the trash can, putting things that were in the trash can into a refrigerator, or taking them and hiding them somewhere around the house. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with right now. And so I did get some other parents that are dealing with the same thing, and I'm doing this video on Tuesday right after work, and today is International Left-Handers Day, and I happen to be left-handed, so to all the other left-handers out there, happy International Left-Handers Day. So we didn't really have this issue with him that much growing up. This is really something that's happened, I think, since we moved where we live now. growing up, I owned a house, and I had a back house that my mom lived in, and he had a big yard, and I didn't really have a lot of issues with him going through the trash that much. A little bit, but not like now. And I'm not dealing with a situation of him not knowing that this is something that he shouldn't do. And the reason that I'm really on him is because, as I stated in previous video, my son is an adult, so I'm not dealing with a child, and emotionally he may act like a child sometimes, but intelligence-wise, he has a higher IQ than I have, and I'm pretty nerdy. So it has nothing to do with his intelligence. It has to do, I think, probably more with a control, because this is something he can control, and but it's not a good coping mechanism for him, because it's something that will make it so that he's not able to go live on his own. It'll delay him being able to live independently or even with a roommate, because no one else is going to want you to have trash all over the place. It's just not going to work for someone else. Right now we're going through the process of getting in-home support services for him, which is something that a lot of states offer. Well, a few states offer, but here in California, that's something that you can get as far as supplemental funding for him from the state, because of him being developmentally disabled, and me having to assist him with the majority of things, so that he has a good quality of life. And they're going to come to the house. So of course I'm on a daily looking to make sure that there's things not hidden when he's left. Today is a good example. I know for a fact that he was up half the night, which is why it's quiet in the house right now when it's almost dinner time, because he got up and went through the trash and took everything that I had taken and put it in the trash yesterday and brought it back in. And it was in cubby holes in the kitchen, stuff was in the refrigerator, there were items under his bed in his room. And, when I got up, I immediately knew something was going on, because he wasn't in his room, he was outside the door. So we had a discussion about it. So I know that he understands that he shouldn't be doing this. So the things that I'm working on, is obviously trying to get him to go to bed, trying to keep him from going in the trash can. Every time I see him go near the trash can, I'm on alert. At one point, it was to the point that I didn't even have the trash can in the house. The trash can had to be outside the house so that he wouldn't dig in the trash. That it was to that point, but we've moved past that now, and now the trash can is able to be in the house, but we still have to get him to the point where if something's been put in the trash, I put it in the trash for a reason. Mommy put it in the trash for a reason, because it's no good, even if you think it's still good, or it's been here too long, whatever the situation is. The bottle's empty. That's why I'm throwing it in the trash. The wrapper's empty. That he keeps something like the wrapper that this candy is in. So it's really a process with him. He gets better, and then we revert back to doing this. And it's something that in this particular area, his dad and I are both trying to co-parent him. When he's with his dad, he talks to him about it, making sure it's not an issue. More of my concerns is that I don't think that they're necessarily is aware of it, in his day program. So I think it's something I'm going to have to make them aware of, because sometimes he comes home and he has trash in his pockets, or he's put it in his bag, that his lunch bag that he takes with him, and he brings it all home instead of throwing it out while he's out. So then the next day when he leaves and goes to work, I have to go and get all that stuff that he's hit all over my house and remove it. It's really a area of patience, and it's a behavior. And the reason that I'm working with them is because we're past the point of it being a meltdown situation. This has been a meltdown situation, and sometimes even now can be a meltdown situation. And I'll talk about that when I do the video on the dark side of autism, where we actually had a meltdown situation around this exact issue of hoarding trash. So sorry guys, just taking a little sip of my tea. But it can become a meltdown issue, and it really just depends on the severity of the meltdown as to how you want to handle it. Sometimes if you see it becoming a meltdown situation, you just back off, because you don't want it to become an aggressive situation where they're harming themselves or harming you, or or someone else because of the hoarding situation. But some of the things that people said in the comments were about, about medications and everything. And I'm also going to do a video very soon about medications and non-medications and holistic, and the reasons why he's not on meds, because I do believe I did mention that in a previous video. So but I'll do a video on that. That was one of the things that was brought up, and we're looking at some holistic ways, but meds is not necessarily a solution to dealing with a hoarding problem. I don't think, in my opinion, because I'll go into that more in that video, but in my opinion, it's not the solution. Okay, so dealing with the hoarding situation is something that is unfortunately more common than we want it to be in the autism community. It could come at just a specific part of the life and may stop later on, but you have to work with your child to get them through this. Some of the suggestions are having them to throw the things out, having them to pick through things to get rid of the clutter and get rid of the items that may work, but it also may cause a meltdown. So you may have to revert to the area of just getting rid of the stuff when they're not around, and it just not being there when they're back, and then just being vigilant to try to get this behavior to discontinue. So anyway, that's the majority. That's basically what I had to say. I see that I'm almost out of time for this video, so please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And the music in the background today is called State of Mind, also by my goddaughter, copywritten for me. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Real quick, I forgot to say, my goddaughter is Musical Genius with a Z on SoundCloud. That's where you can find her music. All right, peace, y'all.